Hey everybody, this is Seth Peek with Peek Realty, joined again by my friend Harry Bennett at Equity Reach Mortgage. What's up, man?
Yes. Hey, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries. No
Yeah.
worries. We're here for another little chat about some lending, real estate, obviously topics. And today we thought we'd go back to basics, right?
Some of the common questions that usually
Yeah,
people might ask hey, I want to buy and I don't know if it's premature to ask these questions or if it's should I wait and then ask after I've been at my job for 2 years, so we thought maybe that would be a good little topic for today.
yeah. What documentation to have in order to, like what kind of records do you need to have? If you're an owner in a S corporation, C corporation, if you work a W-9 job, everything.
Yeah.
If you have like you're a contractor versus an employee.
Right.
So I thought we would dive right into it and just kind of go over the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for majority of people who are, if you're an employee,
Yeah.
right, you've been an employee for, say, you've been at the same job for 3 years, right?
Mhm.
For that person, that scenario, if it's just a W-2 employee, maybe it's you and your spouse, and you've been there for, over 24 months, you have a 24-month work history. And basically, on the nuts and bolts, really, when it comes down to it, is the lender is actually just trying to verify that you do have a 24-month work history,
Mhm.
like, period, right? So if you have more than that, that's fantastic. You do not have to be at the same job. That's a number one misconception, is they feel like they have to be at the exact same job for 2 years. That's not correct. You have to have a 24-month work history consecutively, that we can piece together. If you move from this job over to here and you got a raise, that makes sense. That's one big piece.
So income and employment are kind of like number one, like the biggest ones, right? So
Yeah.
it's self-employment or your W-2 job
Yep.
having 2 years history in either one of them, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So on the self-employment, you're going to be asked for different type of documentation than you
Mhm.
would on the W-2 side. So if you're an employee, you need your last 2 years of W-2s, and you need your last 30 days of pay stubs
Yeah.
to support that. And on the self-employment side, right now, whether it's 1099 work,
Okay,
or maybe
one.
or
Yeah.
K, yeah, or however you're organizing your business, your self-employment, but
Mhm.
it'll be, your last 2 years of tax returns on those with all your schedules that you filed.
Mhm. So we have like different categories here. I kind of wrote down some notes, and we've got like income and employment, and then assets and debts. So with that, for the basic, most home buyers, first time or just basic home buyers with a very simple tax schedule, would that just be their bank account balances?
Yeah, for their assets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the assets portion, you would need the last 2 months of bank statements,
Hmm.
or any source of money that we're going to actually use
Hmm.
for the transaction. And really, again, the lender's really just verifying is that money seasoned, right? Has it been
Hmm.
sitting in there for the last 2 months, or did you just put $50,000 from Bitcoin over here, right? Or some other source that they can't verify? Because
Unrecorded gift.
yeah, so what they really
A
don't
gift.
want is, they don't want you to go take out some type of personal loan or a credit card advance or something like that, or another loan, to then put down your property.
I had a client, well, not too many details, but there was a bunch of cash under a mattress. It was like
Oh,
a bunch of
yes.
like $100,000 into like physical greenbacks. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go put this in the bank and we use it for the down payment." I'm like, can't do that. And so it's like, I guess we're buying a house in 2 months, but it's like
Yeah.
having that much cash, you can't just stick it in the bank, and I thought that
Could
was
be a
pretty
problem.
interesting.
Yeah, it may be better just to wait the 2 months and let it season, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big one with assets, making sure that we have the last 2 months or last quarter of your 401k. If you want to borrow from your 401k, that's
Right.
totally acceptable, and it does not affect your debt to income ratio.
And then the debts, but I mean, assets, liabilities, our debts, are we mostly looking at, what we owe anything. We have credit card, car,
Hmm.
uh, you know, not so much student loans, not every student loan. Are there
No, we
some
have to include.
they do include student loans?
Yes, yeah. So for the debt portion, the liabilities is going to be anything that's going to be on your credit report, like you
Yeah.
said, those credit cards, car loans,
Hmm.
student loans do count. There's a formula that you have to use if there's no payment due and it's in deferment, which a lot of people are right now. There's a method to calculate what the payment would be.
Right.
And then also what we do look for in that bank statement that is provided to us, right? We're not only looking for large deposits. We don't care if you go to Taco Bell 9 to 12 times a month, right? We're looking at, is there any large deposits coming in that bank account? And if there's any recurring payments that are showing up on your bank statement, but they're not on the credit report. And
Right.
that commonly is IRS payments.
Hmm.
Right, we start seeing IRS payments. Now we have to further get some more information and see if that's a recurring monthly payment now to the
Or
IRS.
there's a mystery $400 a month going through Zelle or going through Venmo. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, they will ask. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can be like, hey, there's a recurring bill for $225 every single month, going to this place.
Well,
What is it?
the very real thing is that there's a lot of people that that have child support and they've worked out a deal. It's not so much government, siphon child support, but it's maybe they have a divorce and they give their other significant other $1,000 a month through Venmo. I've had that situation where someone's like, well, I pay them $1,000 a month through Venmo. We have this deal worked out, and they're they're nice about it.
Yeah, they're
And so,
cordial.
but you have to have some sort of documentation of what that money's for, and how do you do that? Like when it's something like that.
Yeah. So it goes for like if the person's paying it, right? Do we have to include that debt,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
If it's voluntary, we don't, right? Because if it's voluntary, it's not court ordered, it's not required,
Right.
it's just voluntary. So then that
Gotcha.
would be included. Now on the receiving end, right? If you're receiving it, can I include that as my income? Well, if the borrower wants to disclose that and they have that income and it's court ordered and it's been like that for the last 2 years with the on-time payments, then you possibly can include it.
Right. So we talked about credit history, assets, debts briefly, identity. What about rental history?
Rental history, yes, they are starting to get a little bit more familiarized with having us do a verification of rent, and that's it comes up more with FHA. It's starting to come up a little more with conventional, but yeah, they do a verification of rent. If you say you've lived there for the last 5 years, they may request a verification of rent on that piece there.
Right. And then how do you handle gift funds, and what's the general rule of thumb if you're getting a gift?
Yeah, so there's been some like you can create little cans of worms with gift funds.
Yeah.
If they're like, okay, well, my dad cut me a check. I cashed it. It's in my underneath my mattress. Then I'm gonna deposit. That's like a no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Generally, like if you have gift funds coming up, you want to make sure that you let your loan officer know, the lender. And the easiest way out of all of the scenarios you can use is to have the donor directly wire the gift to escrow. In that way, it takes the donor out of the picture.
Yeah.
We have to go and check their bank statements, and usually they want to stay out of it. They just want to, hey, here's the cash. So the best way is just have the donor wire the money directly to escrow.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've seen it both ways. That when the gifter doesn't always want to reveal to everybody, hey, here's my bank statement.
Here's what I got. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Are there any other anything we missed, or did we hit on the top 5 or 6?
So basically on a standard
Yeah.
employee section, it's the last 2 years W-2s,
Sure.
last 2 months of bank statements, or wherever we're sourcing the money from, last 30 days of pay stubs,
Yeah.
your ID. That's pretty much your basic pieces that we need to get the loan started. And then from there, however their particular situation is, when we start requesting more documents, you have a good lender when they are asking for lots and lots of documentation, and it's kind of driving you a little crazy. And the reason is because they want to make sure that they're certain that you are going to get that loan, because you can get misplaced very quickly and say,
Sure.
oh yeah, you look good, and then come to find out you're in escrow, you're 2 weeks in, and you don't have
Mhm.
your clear close, and you're just like, now everyone's panicking. So
Yeah.
there may be more documentation, but those are just the basics to get started.
Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate it. As always, we bring so much value whenever we have you on talking about lending and loans, and I appreciate your
Thanks, Seth.
time as
Oh
always.
man, appreciate it. I really appreciate coming on here and do this with you weekly.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to the next one, and thanks for tuning in. If you like what you saw here, go ahead and take a look at one of our other videos. I know that recently
Smash
we
the like button,
smash,
right?
yeah, smash it. Don't smash
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We recently did a video on mobile home manufactured home lending, and it's been a hit. So there's a variety of videos we've done at this point, and there's something for everyone. And we look forward to bringing you some more content on real estate and home lending in the future.
Sweet, man. Thank you.
Yeah, see you, man.